Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Jay back at it again. Today we got Instagram is Evil Now by Poly1. That's y'all know what the deal is, man. Follow me on both Jays here and Jays there. Get tapped on my socials. Without further ado, let's get started.
Growing up when I did, I was too young for Facebook, but too old for Snapchat. We used Snapchat a little bit in high school, but we outgrew that. Instagram was always our app. We didn't have shit to say, so it felt perfect, right? A picture speaks 1,000 words or whatever. It's easy to forget that Instagram started off pure, right? It was this cool way to connect with close friends, not so close friends, favorite sports teams, girls. Man, nothing felt better than getting a follow request from a girl that you didn't know on Instagram, right? The Instagram we use today, 12 years later, has turned into
It's not, bro. Instagram, bro. Y'all already know about. I don't even think I gotta explain IG real comments, bro. I do my best, which I do need to make more effort on, of not being on Instagram all the time, because it's so addicting to look at stories, scroll. Because some of the content on there is actually very funny, but it's also such a waste. Like, I feel like after I spend an hour or two scrolling on Instagram, I feel dumber. Like, I don't want to do work. I don't want to record or work on projects for school. Like, I just want to lay down and just play the game or something.
completely different product, right? Its purpose is no longer to connect us. It's to distract us. It's to, manipulate us. Here's the Instagram that I originally fell in love with.
Yeah,
right?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm not old enough for this. Not old head, but this is like old Gen Z Instagram.
And here's the Instagram that we know today. Ass. Literally and figuratively.
Let me see. My Instagram, I ain't gonna lie, my Instagram feed does not have a lot of, I'd say, cheeks on. Most of my Instagram feed is either memes or like, it's either memes or like sports related. Like, I have like a lot of athletic content, like lifting, dudes doing calisthenics. That's what I mainly have on my feed, bro. Like, if I also look at my shit, hold on. Obviously, y'all can't see, but like, I don't have, most of my stuff is memes. And like, basketball, football, like, it's regular stuff. Like, I made sure not to click on this type of shit, bro. Because God forbid I open Instagram and titties pop up on my shit. Like, bro, I'm not trying to do that.
So today I want to talk about how our favorite social media became, in my eyes, evil, and why moving forward, I think I'm off that. So let's start at the beginning, right? I scroll all the way down on my Instagram profile. My first post is from 2012, and it's a picture of me as a kid on a flooded street during Hurricane Sandy with this shitty filter on it, right? It looks stupid. I look stupid. But what was so appealing about Instagram when it first came out was how little pressure there was, right? You found something you wanted to share, and you did. No matter how fried it was like everything was so new, and our brains were not hyper stimulated yet that that picture of your dog would get a like out of me, right? It was like, oh, this is a cute dog. The concept of sharing our lives wasn't weird yet. Social media at this point was actually doing what it was meant to do, which was to connect people, right? Nobody cared about how many likes they got or how they looked in these pictures, right? They were just posting. Posts were shown to you based on when they were posted, right? The name timeline actually made sense. And more importantly, the posts you saw were only from the people that you knew. You had control of what you saw on Instagram, right? We were posting throwback Thursdays and like for TBHs. For the young heads who don't know, the TBH post, those were meta back in the day to get the baddies, right? You would post a like for a TBH, and, if the girl was cute, you'd hit her with a little thing and said, TBH, I don't really know you, you seem chill though, and we should hang out soon. And that was it. It was a layup, right? It was that easy.
Layup, lob on some shit. I bet.
This is what I consider the golden age of Instagram.
I don't have a lot of commentary from here because I'm 17. I'm assuming Poly1 is probably like 24, 25. So he would have been able to use OG Instagram. I'm not old enough for that.
When it was doing what I think it was created to do. There was never a time where you had to see things that you didn't want to see. You were in control as a user of Instagram. And yeah, you could follow, your favorite celebrities, but back then it was just so much better. You could keep up with what your favorite athletes or artists were up to, but you didn't have to also see a bunch of influencers marketing some stupid bullshit onto your feed, right? And plus, at this time, you got to remember too, the boomers are still on Facebook, so it's mostly people from our generation, right? So that's phase one of Instagram. Now let's move to phase two, which I'm gonna clock in about 2016, right? So I looked it up. At this point, there's 500 million people on Instagram, which is crazy. Internet culture, in my opinion, was still in a good place in 2016.
I think internet culture got messed up significantly due to the introductions of not only algorithms, but scrolling, like shorts, reels. I feel like that significantly, because now it's just scroll. You're not really talking or connecting with people. I think that the introduction of that type of content on the social media platforms, like, yes, if people who want to who want to make content can use that to gain clicks, follows, because I've definitely done it. Like, I've made shorts and gained a lot of views, whether it be on Instagram or YouTube, right? However, I think if we're talking for overall internet culture, it's not beneficial. Because instead of commenting on people's posts, connecting, following, and actually interacting, you're just scrolling.
And Instagram was kind of the facilitator of that culture, if that makes sense, right? We're all on the same page still. I've talked about this before, but the internet was just a shared experience at this point. Leading up to this era, I was still enjoying using Instagram, right? And it's funny looking back, making this video, I looked back at my old posts, and this is where I started to post like douchey squad pics, right, with the guys. Like at this point, I think, people, myself included, were now trying to look cool with their Instagram posts instead of just like seeing some stupid shit and posting it. Posts now were more intentional, right? The aura farming had begun.
Yeah, I'll say when niggas start aura farming for the photos, bro, like, because I think even now, like, I'm not trying to post everything. Like, I'm not just going to post a random flick of me like this. Like, I have to, like, you got to make sure the fit is clean. You got to make sure you got the poses. I feel like that definitely, like, the bar is raised for what's going to get attention on Instagram.
Point. And, looking back, it does nothing but make me cringe. Like, trying to look cool in these pictures is terrible. But I guess, I don't know. I guess at this time in my life, I just cared what other people thought still. Like, way too much.
To be honest, honest to God, most of the time, like, if I was to look at how much I post on Instagram, I'd say I don't. Like, I've only recently started using stories, but I'm not a massive, like, IG type of nigga, bro. Like, yes, I've posted my physique and stuff. Yes, I've posted reels, progress, but I usually only either post, like, a gym photo every so often, or, like, how many subscribers I've gained from, like, my YouTube and shit. But other than that, I don't post that much, bro. Like, honest to God, I've had my IG main, I've had it for like 2+ years. I've only posted like maybe anywhere from like 12 to 15 times on that shit, bro. I'm not even gonna lie.
Obvious, but I feel like everyone did. Like, this was, a shared experience. It wasn't just me, I'm hoping, right? But yeah, so now we've entered the flexing era of Instagram, and this is where the first sign of decline begins in my eyes, right? Now you could post stories that would delete after 24 hours. They took that right from Snapchat, but this was just another tool, that someone could use to create FOMO, right? Create an illusion of a life that isn't actually theirs. So to this
That's
day,
the thing. A lot of social media niggas, the life is manufactured, bro. Like, niggas be like, oh, how do you look like that? A lot of that shit is perfect lighting. Like, as someone who's posted shirtless photos on Instagram, lighting and position is so important. Like, bro, if I had a gym mirror, like one of the mirrors at the gym, nigga, I would be posting non-fucking stop. Like, bro, that shit had you looking like a Greek god. You got to get the right angles. You got to get a pump. All that stuff, bro. Because what you look like post-workout, pump, gym mirror is not what you're going to look like 24/7. I'm just keeping it real, bro.
Hey, people are still flexing on Instagram, right? This epidemic is still very much alive, and this is when it started, right? But more importantly, what happened this year is the app would make one of the most, in my opinion, culturally significant changes we've ever seen, and it's when they added the algorithm, right? So they updated the feed. Instead of showing posts in chronological order, they now show them based on user engagement, perceived interest.
I feel like algorithms is how niggas got echo chambers.
All these.
Because if you're just watching something and you're constantly going to get fed more and more of it, you're gonna get deeper and deeper into that rabbit hole and not hear what the other side has to say, or have it's gonna lead to less nuance. Is what I'm
Math.
trying to
And
say.
if you remember, when this first happened, I personally remember people being pissed off. Everyone's like, why am I not seeing, posts that I usually would in the order that they were posted, right? But the beast that is the algorithm was out of the cage, right? It was already too late, and as it got more refined, people just accepted it because it was working. The algorithm was doing its job. It was increasing user engagement, increasing screen time. People stopped complaining, right? So at this point, for me at least, around this time is when Instagram started to feel more like a need than an enjoyable want, right? All of a sudden I was using it to not miss out, as opposed to using it because it was fun or because I was connecting with friends. The authenticity of Instagram was already nearly gone at this point, right? And the impact that it had on our dopamine too was starting to become obvious, right? I was still young here, but I had already started to recognize that when I would get a like from a girl I thought was cute, for example.
That's true, bro. That dopamine hit when you get a share, a follow, someone comments on your post is real, bro. Like, I've definitely had times where I was just scrolling on Instagram just waiting, responding to stories just to hope I get a follow back or talk to someone. And that's such a deep rabbit hole because you're wasting so much time and energy and draining yourself emotionally just to talk to people that you end up not actually making. Like, for instance, instead of, like, what if I spent 3 hours on Instagram following stories, trying to do that type of stuff instead of focusing on this channel, right? I would have wasted so much time if I was on IG all day, every single day. And I'm not saying you can't talk to people on IG, but if you're only doing it just to get that dopamine hit, that's a huge problem.
I get a little serotonin blast, but then on the other hand, if I posted something and it didn't get any likes, or it got like a low amount of likes, all of a sudden I feel like a loser, right? And it's like, why the fuck did I care about this? I don't know, but all of a sudden I did, right? All of a sudden this app had control over me, control over my emotions, which, sounds stupid, but it's true. And I think a lot of people don't want to admit that, right? But yeah, over the next couple of years, this vibe just continues to get worse and worse, right? The algorithm's getting sharper and sharper. More influencers are appearing out of nowhere, And as a user, I'm finding this app less and less enjoyable. Turns out, though, this was just the start. So let's move on to phase 3. 2020 COVID. The whole world.
Canon event. 2020 COVID has dead ass. Like the world pre 2020 COVID and post, it's different, bro. That year and a half of isolation where niggas are just scrolling on their phones, gooning and shit, like, bro, that shit changed so much. Especially my age range,
is
bro.
Fried out of their brains on TikTok, right? On top of that, everyone's stuck at home. No one's got shit to post on Instagram. You know what I mean? And evil Zuckerberger sees this and drops Instagram Reels. So TikTok is now on Instagram. And in the same way that people didn't fuck with the algorithm update when it first dropped, nobody liked Instagram Reels when it first came out for a while there, right? During COVID, I was still TikTok maxing crazy, right? So Instagram Reels just seemed like this place that, the TikToks I saw 2 weeks ago would come up on Instagram. And then at some point, they turned off all the filters or some shit on Instagram Reels because Reels knew how to push someone's buttons. It just did not give a fuck which ones that it was pushing, right? I remember seeing the most graphic, like, terrible videos that I did not want to see. Like, why am I watching someone get murked on my fucking Instagram feed? Like, it was so wild. And, I think eventually they fixed this, but it definitely did its damage. And people now were using Instagram Reels. And in my opinion, this is when DMs became whack. And it's not like Instagram DMs were ever like this cool thing, but I remember when you used to get a DM on Instagram, it would mean something, right? It was like either a chick or, someone you hadn't talked to in forever. Now if I don't check Instagram for one day, I come back and there's like a bunch of Instagram Reels in my DMs that I just like. Sometimes they're funny, I'm not gonna lie, but
Sometimes Instagram Reels, that's why I said some of the time they're funny as hell. Like, some of the time there's some of the times I've like going on Instagram, I ain't gonna lie, them hoes be like some of the funniest shit I'll be seeing on is like them AI anime voiceovers, bro. Them hoes be some of the funniest shits known to man, bro. But on the other hand, it's like sometimes the reels are mind melting on some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dead ass frying your shit, bro.
Most of the times it's just like we're sending slop back and forth to each other in these conversations, right? And, especially because it was COVID, the scary part of social media became super obvious at this point. There was friends of mine that I hadn't seen or talked to in months, but because we would send each other stupid shit back and forth on Instagram, and I would see their posts and they would see my posts, we'd have this fake sense of still being connected. Instagram had mastered this ability to make you feel like you were still close with people that you weren't close with. Even though you're drifting apart.
Got a craving? Wing it. For as little as...
Yeah, bro, I ain't gonna lie, that shit. If I've sent reels before, but at the same time, I'll still talk to the person. Like, I'll still engage in conversation, because I don't just want to be the nigga that just sends reels all the time, bro. Because you either have to send the reel back or you just hit an emoji. I ain't gonna lie.
There's this facade of being connected, right? And I'll get to this one in a bit, but it's one of the reasons I love deleting this motherfucking app, right? Because I noticed when I delete it...
I only have the Instagram app because I can post shit. Like, I can post, like, if I hit a new milestone on YouTube, I'll put it on my story, I'll post it itself. But other than that, I don't want to have... That's why I put a limit on that shit. Like, for TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, I have a limit. For, like, the app itself. Where it's like, I can only be around it for 5 minutes a day. So when I'm on that app, it's like, post a vid, get your numbers up on this shit. And then get back to, locking in on recording, YouTube, or working out.
People will reach out more, and I find myself reaching out to people because, we haven't talked in a while and I'm not opening their stupid Instagram fucking reels that they're sending me. So we have no communication, right? When you delete the app, you don't have this false sense of being caught up, and it ends up leading to genuine conversations and better relationships, which is crazy, right? It's like, it's anti-social media now is what it is. And this is the phase in which I stopped enjoying Instagram completely, right? I really barely posted, and, I didn't really give a fuck about showing people what I was doing anymore. But I was still using it every day, right? Which is crazy. Like, why would I be using it if I don't like it? That says a lot. I'll get to that, right? Fast forward to today. Phase 4, we can call it. Instagram is straight up no longer a social media, right? We aren't being connected.
I'm not gonna lie. Instagram now, I'd argue, is like a dating app. Because most of the time, I mean, if a girl's into you, right? I've had this happen to me before. She's gonna ask for the Insta. Most of the time, they don't ask for the number. They ask for the Instagram for real.
We're being distracted, manipulated, and marketed to instead, right? And, as a guy, when I open Instagram, if I go to the feed page, it's just all chicks promoting their OnlyFans.
I'm so happy that's not my feed. My feed is memes. It's like anime. It's either some, like... It's either like some drag. It's like either like shonen anime, some dude hitting a new PR like he's working out, or it's like a funny meme. Like, I made sure to hand pick my... If I was going to be Instagram, I want to hand pick it. So that way you have a little bit of motivation. A little bit of anime shit. A little bit of self-improvement. A little bit of funny memes in that bitch. So make sure my feed is good. I'm so happy my feed is not just no gooner bait ass shit, bro.
I have the same problem too, right? And it would be different if I was interacting with these girls, liking their accounts, following them. But I'm not. I realized a long time ago that constantly looking at ass on my phone...
Like, constantly, unless you were going to try to DM the girl, looking at ass is pointless. Honest to God. Like, scrolling on any, like, it's like doing anything to just look at ass, just to look at it, bro, it's pointless. Because you're just arousing yourself and you're gaining nothing out of it, bro. Like, it's one thing to see a girl bikini picture and try to comment or slide. But if you're not doing any of those, what's the point, my boy?
It's not healthy. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, Instagram keeps pushing that shit harder and harder. It's Instagoon at this point, and it's annoying. Instagoon is crazy, but it really has become like this big part of the app, and it didn't used to be, right? And so on top of this, Instagram Reels has become its own monster these days. It's debatably more, brain rotting than TikTok ever was. Just like everything else that was once good, the user experience on Instagram is totally different than it was when it first was created, right? I don't care about these OnlyFans chicks. I don't care about the Bop House, fucking Kai Cenat. I just don't, right? But for some reason, the algorithm, if it's so fine-tuned, you'd think it'd be better at showing me things that I enjoy, my interests, working out, reading, meditating, movie recommendations, shit like that, right? But no. The Instagram algorithm, I looked into it, it's too hyper-focused on engagement, and it's so hyper-focused to the point where it becomes
that's kind of why I don't want to watch a lot of celebrity YouTube drama shit. Because I've reacted to it before. Like, oh, this YouTuber did this Twitch streamer did that. But most of the time, I prefer to watch videos either about anime, like dissecting anime fights, commentary on that type of stuff, or, videos like these where it's like a video talking about a social, political, or economic issue in society, and I can commentate my thoughts on it, because YouTube drama, I know it's going to give views. I know niggas going to click on the shit. But it's not enjoying it. I don't enjoy watching those videos, or at least not to the extent I enjoy watching videos like these. Because my commentary on those type of videos isn't going to be, because I feel like it's not going to be as good. Because my anime reaction videos are going to have good commentary, because I know a lot of anime like the back of my hand, right? I've reread chapters of One Piece, rewatched episodes, watched analysis videos on it, so I have a lot to say and give my own opinion on hot takes, ideas, opinion, etc. Same with this. I read and watch a lot of videos about history, politics, economy, etc. And I can use my own personal experiences and try to, formulate some type of idea or opinion relating to the video. But with celebrity drama, I don't know or care. I either don't know the person or I don't care enough to really dig deep into that drama. So it's kind of just pointless in my eyes, you feel me?
And less personalized, right? TikTok gets all this shit, and most of it rightfully so, but even though I don't use TikTok anymore, I gotta admit, like, I have actually over the years learned things from TikTok, right? Whether that's like mindset things or health goals, health things, gym things, movie recs, book recs.
That was good, y'all. With Jay back at it again, and today we got 3 true morning walk horror stories, and that was the video. I ain't gonna lie, that JJK reaction, that shit might be in the vault, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, man, because that shit, I spent an hour editing that reaction. Still got hold. Like, them anime niggas do not play about that shit, bro.
Things from that app, and I cannot say the same about Instagram. It's like Instagram just wants me to fucking goon. Like, it's crazy.
Well, on my Instagram feed, like I said, bro, it don't want me to goon, but like, it has a little bit of funny shit in there. Because I have times where I've deadass been crying laughing on Instagram. So it's not all bad. It's definitely what you choose to watch. Like, I do not, if it's some gooner shit or some celebrity drama, I just don't care. Like, I'll scroll past that bitch. And, like, save reels and funny shit and, like, some inspiration. Stuff like that.
If you open up Instagram right now, like, the people at least me, it's like 10%. And the rest is just all this other internet slop, right? I think it's also worth mentioning that I'm getting older, so that plays a role in this, right? I care less about showing other people what I'm doing, and I care a lot less about seeing what other people are up to, right? I'm more in the moment than I was when I was growing up. And, if there was a new version of Instagram that came out and didn't have all this slop, I probably still wouldn't be interested, right? But thinking about it, like, it would be cool if Instagram never changed. If it was still this goofy app where you just took a stupid pic you want to show your friends, there was no algorithm, no reels, no fucking BBLs on the feed, that would be awesome, right? I'm not going to lie, that would be an awesome app. But that would never happen. We know that. So what's the answer, right? What do we do? Obviously, deleting would be the simple answer, and that's usually where I'm at now. I'm not on my monk shit. I'll re-download it, every now and then just to see if I missed anything. But, usually there's nothing to miss, and I know for a fact I feel way better when I don't have Instagram on my phone, right?
Yeah, when I'm not compulsively using Instagram, I honestly feel like I'm 5 times more productive, bro, to be real with y'all niggas.
Too, because if I do re-download it, I'm like, all right, enough, I'll delete it. I find myself looking for it for a little bit, right? That urge to just, scroll on Instagram comes back, but then it goes away, right? It does suck, though, how far we are from social media's original function, which was to connect us, right? The whole world right now has never been more disconnected, and these apps are not helping. And it's crazy to see the power that they hold over, us, our generation, our economy, even, right? And it's scary to think about the fact that this could just get worse and worse. Like, we could just continue to get more and more disconnected, lose the plot even more. Meta is planning on adding AI-generated users, with
Hell no.
bios, profile pics, posts into Instagram. So people are going to be connecting with robots and not even realize it.
That shit's actually fucking evil, bro.
Dead internet theory. It's beyond fucked up. But on a more hopeful side, I think, I don't know, I'm hopeful that our generation is a little bit too awake to fall down that road completely, right? I think these big companies don't think that we have the capacity to recognize what's going on, what's happening to us. But I don't know, I feel like a lot of us do. A lot of us see what these apps do to us, and we don't want to partake in it. We're sick of being consumers. We're sick of being, target demographics for marketing campaigns. We're sick of being, manipulated, distracted. So there's hope, in my opinion. I don't know. I think they underestimate us. But yeah, guys, that's just a little video on, the downfall of Instagram, you could call it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to you later. Peace.
Hey, I ain't gonna let W that, bro. W Vib on my boy Paul Knows. With that being said, it's your boy Jay. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and stay blessed. And I'm out.